Now, for the last couple of years, Samsung has had an always on display feature on their flagship phones. Now, what this means is that normally, whenever you lock the device, the screen will stay black on most phones. But with the always on display feature enabled, then it will show some information on the screen whenever it detects that it is not in your pocket. So this kind of information will vary depending on what setting you set up and how you configure it in the settings. This is enabled by default. So firstly, I just want to show you how to disable the always on display feature on the Galaxy S8 and the Galaxy S8 Plus. But I also just wanted to show you the different settings that you can pick and the different styles that you can choose from for the always on display. So to do that, we just need to go into the settings application. Then we're going to scroll down a bit until we get to the lock screen and security section. And then in the lock screen and always on display section, you're going to have an option for always on display. So as I mentioned, by default, this will be on. So if you want to turn it off, you just need to toggle that off. However, when it's on, you can tap on that option and you have a number of different settings to choose from. So you can choose the content to show, which by default is set to show the home button and the clock or any of the information that you have set. And if you don't want the home button there, you can just set it to the clock or the information. And lastly, maybe you just only want that home button there, so you can tap that and then it will not show any information. So by default, it's going to be set to the digital clock. But there's also an analog clock. There is a world clock, and you can add different cities in there. There's a calendar. You can set it to a specific image. Or you can just enable the edge clock. And as you can see, each of these have different settings in and of itself. So you can change the color, you can change the position on that one, you can change the clock style, the color, and the background. And then down here we have an option that we can toggle on and off for show always. So if you wanted to, you could just set a certain schedule. So this means that whenever you toggle that off, you can set the always on display to only work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., meaning that whenever you're asleep and at nighttime, you generally don't need that information on the screen at all times. Or maybe if you wanted to use this as an alarm type clock, then you could set that to only the nighttime. So that is the always on display feature for the Galaxy S8 and the Galaxy S8 Plus. The amount of battery life this feature uses is very minimal because Samsung has OLED panels on these phones. And there's very little risk to actually cause a burn-in issue because Samsung it is aware of that, and if you actually stared at this image for a long time whenever it's locked, you'll see that it will actually move around. So it's activating different pixels at a time. And again, just if you want to disable that completely, all you have to do is toggle the feature off, and then next time whenever you press the home button, you're not going to be greeted with that always on display.